Good morning and welcome from another sunny day in Northumberland on the 2nd of May. This is the feast of St. Athanasius, and I'm not going to say much about him except to say that his great battle, and it was a real battle that he fought in the early years of the church, was to preserve and proclaim the teaching of the divinity of Christ, that in Christ God truly came to live among us, to share our life, so that he might save and renew us. So Athanasius is important, as well as having one of the best saints' names there is. Anyway, the early church has been a topic of conversation in the places where I read articles on the internet, in magazines, on Facebook, on Twitter and things like that, because some people have been saying that this time makes us like the early church, and other people seem to say, well, that's nonsense, it's very different to the early church. And of course, the truth is that in part, both of them are correct. But actually, I think I favour the second group a little bit more. I think they're more right than the others, that we are actually very different to the early church. I'm going to read a little bit from the Acts of the Apostles. We've already read this year, but I'm going to read it again. This is the story of the first Christians. It's one of those golden texts from the scriptures. It's Acts chapter 2, verse 42. And this is the description of the early church in those very early days after Pentecost. They devoted themselves steadfastly to the apostles' teaching and communal life, in the breaking of bread and in prayers. The apostles' teaching, communal life, the breaking of bread, and in the prayers. I think it's a wonderful picture because it shows how the church was energized. The apostles' teaching is the proclamation of Jesus. And for us, I suppose, as I was saying when I was talking about being apostolic yesterday, it's the scriptures, it's the gospel, and it's the New Testament. That's our equivalent to the apostles' teaching. And let's be fair, we can still stick with that at the moment. Everybody has a Bible, and you can, if you haven't got one, if you're watching this and you haven't got a Bible, please let me know and we'll get one to you as soon as possible, or I'll tell you how to download the app on your phone or on your computer. But we have the scriptures. We can share them and we can listen to them. But our ability to discuss them and to share about them is a little bit diminished. But we're there with the apostles' teaching. This is the one that I think is much more difficult. The communal life. Sometimes it's called the fellowship. One of the things that is obviously diminished at this time is our ability to talk to each other and to be alongside each other. There have been 2 or 3 occasions in the last week where my natural inclination would have been to give someone a hug. They may not have liked that. They may be relieved that we're locked down and they've escaped that. But that would have been my natural inclination, because I would want to show fellowship, love, solidarity with that person. And no matter how good we are at Zooming and FaceTiming and WhatsApping and even the old-fashioned telephone call or the shouted conversation across 2 meters, it's not the same. There is a sense in which we've lost something of our community. And however good we are at the sort of fellowship we're doing at the moment, something has been lost. The breaking of bread, well, it's very clear that that's lost at the moment. It's one of the reasons I'm not celebrating the Eucharist on a daily or a weekly basis. I feel it's important that I too share that loss. Other clergy, for equally varied reasons, carry on celebrating either daily or on a Sunday, and I completely understand that. But whatever we do or whatever I do, our churches are diminished. The prayers. Well, we can pray. I hope that a lot of you who watch this will go on to share with me in the prayer I post. But it is different, and we're not praying together. Someone said to me yesterday, if only the church was open and I could go in and sit down and say a prayer, I feel I could be at more peace. I completely understand that, just as I completely understand the reasons why I've been asked to close our churches. But things are different. In the apostolic age, in the Acts of the Apostles, we're able to see a growing community. At the moment, we are maintaining community, I believe, and I believe we may be reaching out to one or two people as well through our own actions. But what we have is diminished. And so my prayer is that we can soon come to a time when things will be renewed and we can once again meet together and know the presence of God among us. May God bless us all at this time.